think it's the fact that I grew up in a working class family, a struggling family. My father was a waiter. He met my mother when they were both immigrants, factory workers in New York. And there was no book in the house, not a single book in the house. No movie magazines my mother read, but no books. But I picked up books on the street, you know, and read. So I was interested. I was reading about fascism and socialism, and so yes. By the time I went to the Navy Yard to work, I was already a political person. Radicalized, I think, by encountering young radicals on my street, and communists and members of the Young Communist League, and they were very political and very smart. They knew all about what was going on in Mexico. I was impressed by how much they knew. We formed because we were excluded from the union. The union was an AFL union, craft union. They only took in skilled workers, which meant that they were excluding blacks, because the black workers in the Navy Yard were the unskilled workers, but the heaviest work, riveters and shippers and, you know, nasty work. It was a good war. That's why I enlisted. War against fascism. It was very clear they were the bad guys. We were the good guys. But I began to have doubts, small doubts. Doubts first put into my head by a guy who was on another crew. A young fellow he was a gunner on another crew, and we became friends. I guess we became friends because we were both readers.
Those are problems that exist in any society, and they would exist in a different form in a more free society. And at this point, you have lots of different ideas. So there are people, basically anarchists, who think that payment, you know, what you earn from your work, should be proportional to effort. There are others who think that's not an appropriate model, that it should be independent of effort.
Thinking about the road to a stateless society, an anarchist society, you've written that you believe that radicals should defend those gains which have been fought for by people that are embodied in the state, such as social security, such as progressive taxation. Other anarchists might argue that this holds people within the kind of paternalistic grip of the state. Why do you come down where you do on this?
You have to ask what the alternatives are. I mean, many anarchists just consider the state the fundamental form of oppression. I think that's a mistake. I mean, of the various kinds of oppressive institutions that exist, the state is among the least of them. The state, at least, you know, to the extent that the society is democratic, you know, various degrees and types, but to the extent that it's democratic, you have some influence on what happens in the state. You have no influence on what happens in a corporation. They're real tyrannies.